Hi everybody! Today I've been working on a page from this Doctor Who book, and this book was one that I got secondhand off of eBay in a lot of two, and the page I've been working on is one that's already started, so I thought maybe you guys would like to see how I was coping with that, maybe give you ideas for any of your books that you've gotten secondhand or anything. So yep, this is the page that I've been working on. There is various artists in this book, so I can't really tell you who drew it, but yeah, this is the page that I've been working on. And the first thing that I tried, because this page has been coloured with water-based markers as far as I could tell, like felt pens, water-based markers, the first thing I tried was to go over with the water, as the same technique as I did on my Skywatcher dragon, to see if I could get the same kind of effects going on, and that was not working. It did work in the other one. The other one I got in the same job lot as this one. This page was already started with the water-based markers, and I've gone over that with the water and gotten some nice watercolour kind of effects going on that jacket there. So I'm planning to go back in and do the same thing on the Doctor there, see if I can work into that again on top. But yeah, it's working in that book. It's working in that one, Doctor Who Travels in Time, but it's not working in this one. But what I did was I went over this little green guy here, and I have Googled him. I can't find any pictures of him that are not black and white. So I'm just going on the assumption that, yes, he is green. Any Doctor Who fans could correct me because I didn't watch the very early series. But what I did do as my very first thing to try is go over this kind of water-based marker with the water. And when that wasn't making the nice watercolour effects that I was hoping for, I blotted off the water to try and lift off the colour. You can see there the colour lifting off. So I've done that for the whole green guy, just to dull the colour down a little bit and maybe make it a little bit easier to work on. And it is taking quite a long time to dry. It hasn't long dried, and the paper is becoming very wrinkled. Also, it has soaked right through, and it's gone through three blotter sheets there. You can see it just starting to come through on the third one. So yeah, if you do want to try this, be prepared. Don't try and do it on a double-sided book, because yeah, that wouldn't be very good for the other side of the page. But it does lift the colour again. It lifts the colour, giving me a slightly lighter green to be able to work on, which has given me quite a nice effect down there. So yeah, I wasn't too worried that this effect didn't work exactly how I planned it to. Kind of blot off as much of that as we can. Try and give us a lighter colour to be getting on with later. And it is soaking through the edges there, you can see, but the background I'm planning on making quite dark, with the Cybermen being a little bit lighter, because this Doctor is, I think he's the second Doctor, isn't he? And those were quite old series, and in my head they're black and white. So what I'm planning on doing is the background in kind of grayscale, and these little bits here down the bottom in grayscale, with the colour kind of fading off, bleeding off into the grey. I'm hoping that will work, because if I had the whole page to colour, I think I would have done it all in grayscale, or maybe markers and pencils. But because it was already started, I'm working with what was there. There we go, we'll leave that there. And as you can see, it has bled over the edges here. This green has bled over the edges. But what I've done, I've just gone right the way around the whole silhouette with a gold Sharpie, just so I can go over this green that's escaped from over the edges. Maybe make that look a little bit neater. And there we go. We'll just wait for that little creature to dry. Creature who I have no idea what it is, I'm afraid. And because I can't really do much with the water-based marker on these faces, I've been going in pretty heavy with my shading to try and cover as much of it as I can. So I've just been shading with shades of grey, because as I said, if it was up to me, the whole page would be in black and white, but because these faces are already coloured in, I'm trying to work with that a little bit and just dull down the colour by shading them in with greys. This is warm grey. I'm using my Castle Arts Gold just because they're already out on my desk. I'm just trying to shade a little bit with grey and dull the colours down so that I can have my grayscale kind of black and white around the edges, and hopefully it will all sort of work together. I'm trying to make the shadows pretty deep because I want my lighting to be pretty extreme so that I can work with this colour quite a lot and give it quite a lot of shading to work with the pens I've already got underneath, and her hair as well. I've been shading with the greys. This is warm grey. I don't know if I mentioned that. And for the slightly deeper shadows, I'm using the Cool Grey Deep. Dive a little bit more onto her hair. Try and dull down this really bright yellow. And also again, to try and dull down that yellow, I did do a little bit of the Naples yellow light. Just again, trying to dull it down. Have it all blend into this black and white theme that I've got in my head, which hopefully will work. There we go, that's working a little bit better. And of course the white, shading with the white again to dull down that really bright yellow. I'm working on the assumption that the Doctor's companion in this series was actually blonde. But making sure that the shadows are pretty dark. This the black, ivory black. Especially going for the shadow under her chin there. And this is where the darkest shadows would be, so we can even add some black into her hair. Try and have it blend a bit more into that grayscale that I'm hoping to use. Okay, into the skin, I'm going with the coral, just so that it's not all grey and completely dull looking, adding a little bit of a flesh tone back into there, even in the shadow. Especially on this side, as I'm wanting the light to be coming from the right, especially adding this darker shadow onto the left side of her face. And blending it out with the white. Add some of the flesh tone to her neck. How about coming out of the shadows, working a bit more with that warm grey. Just shade as you would a face. I'm just taking the shadows kind of as far as I can to cover up those pen marks and have my grayscale be able to kind of blend in to the colour and not look too stark. Have some of that Naples yellow. This side is really bright. Need to dull it down. Stick the white in. Blend in the colours and dull down that yellow, while still keeping her looking as if she's blonde with light hair, though not so light as taking attention away from where we actually want it, which is possibly the doctor, I would imagine. Okay, and what I've done with the boys over here, I've given them a little bit of white gel pen just to show that the light is shining from this side and is kind of strong light to even be adding highlights like this to their actual face. You can even add some in their hair, as I like to do. And here where it comes over. Just try and add that black a little bit there. Maybe a little bit too harsh. And the same kind of thing for this soldier guy. Is he a general? I'm not well up on military insignias, but yeah, just the same thing on him. Trying to work out the pencil strokes, blend those in a little bit more, make it look as if it's smoother. And on him I've been using as well a little bit of olive green, also to dull down this green and hopefully make sure everything can blend in when I try and do the grayscale. Going on to this colour. That's it, that's dulled that green down quite nicely. I'm not sure what colour the edges on this colour would be. Oops, forgot the olive green on that. Just a little bit more black shading. Just dulling the colours down. Blend that out with the olive green. I'll carry the olive green around that edge. So I don't know what colour it's supposed to be, but I'll just go with what's there. And I'll shade his tie with a little bit of walnut brown. Just again trying to dull the colour down. Okay, black for the darkest. There we go. Okay, and the same kind of shading I've been doing here on this creature. Now that it's all dry, putting the white over the top will dull the green down even more, which is good. That's what I'm wanting. Because I'm wanting the whole thing to look like black and white or like just barely colorized. I'll leave the shading for now, and I'm going to go in with markers to try and color these bits down the bottom here and try and find some shades of grey. This will be the darkest. Use this one for the doctor's suit. I'm just ignoring these little circles for now. I might go back in and give them a bit of colour. Let's give that a bit of shading. I'll just use the white gel pen to go around the edges of what I presume to be glass here. Nothing above. These lines are to show where the light is reflecting off the glass. I'm no expert at colouring glass, but it seems to work for me. I've just coloured those coloured circles with the black glitter gel pen because I think down here should all mostly be black and white, so I've just covered them up. Got his shirt. Okay, so I'm not sure what these circle bits here are meant to be. If they're meant to be anything to do with this series or not, I can't place them if they are. And I really don't want to colour in all these little circles. So all I'm going to do is cut out those areas and collage in. See if I can get this piece of paper, which is actually a page that I've ripped out from an old Doctor Who annual that my son didn't want anymore, he was throwing away. So I ripped out a few pages that might come in handy, and this is one of them. And I'm going to try and use that in the background, hoping this green and the black blend into what I'm doing. So I'm just going to cut out all these circles, the bits that I don't really like, which is always something you can do with any colouring page. Doesn't have to be one that's started. As you can see, I tried a little bit of colouring in there, a little bit of shading for these circles, but it just wasn't working for me. So in the end, I've gone for a pretty extreme solution. And once again, you have to be kind of brave to cut up your colouring books like this. And if it's a single-sided book, you can get away with it a lot easier than if it's a double-sided book. Though, if you don't really mind losing what's on the back. There we go. I'm going to be calling it done there. It's worked out really well, I think. And my idea of having the grayscale kind of blending up into more of a coloured area in the middle to work in that part that was already done, that's worked really well. Yeah, I'm really happy with how that's turned out. I think that's worked out quite well considering it was already started. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye.